How are you, beloved? This is the Remnant Seed Bible Study channel. Today's subject is the great falling away, and I want to go into the Greek words and get really deep into this, so let's get right into this. Now we're going to look at the Greek word apostasia or Aphistémi. Aphistémi. It's hard to pronounce these Greek words. Now let's go to the first. This is the word that Dr. Strong's uses in this specific case right here, and it's number 646. And it's apostasia, and it's a defection or a revolt. And you can see it's a falling away. Even in the Greek, it means falling away. Defection from the truth, forsake, and gives all the extra Greek words here. But I've dug into this and got every word that I can see associated with this word, with these English words, falling away. And I went into every Greek word. Now the next one is at number 647. It's apostason, and it's a forsaking. It even means a bill of divorce, repudiation. So, you have divorced yourself from the truth in essence. Now, this is where the rapture apologists, they're using this example here now to turn this into a rapture, and it's the number 868 in your Strongs. And it's Aphistémi, to lead away, depart from. So look, it's the same thing in the meaning. But when you go down here, to lead away, to depart from, I make to stand away, draw away, repel, take up, position away, withdraw from, leave, abstain from, depart, fall away, refrain, withdraw. Okay, now look here, to remove. Now this is where they take one of these single meanings right here, and this is what they're using now as their rapture. And this is pretty sad. This is so pathetic because when you look at it, when you inject a rapture in here and say that this whole thing means to remove, as in rapture, you're taking this so far out of context, it's just laughable. Now, let's go to, here's another Greek word associated with it, apo, from, away from. And this is a preposition, away from away, hereafter, ago, because, before, and you can see it really is, it's referring to the same thing of falling away, a reversal, a secession from the truth, of falling away from the truth. And let's go to the last one here. It's the Greek number 2476, Aphistémi. To make a stand, to stand, and make a stand, place, set up, establish. And they're taking it, basically, you could say they're taking a stand against the truth because they're falling away from the truth. Now let's go into this explanation here that I've given. The words falling away are only used one time in the entire Bible. And Dr. Strong chose the word apostasia when he translated the English words falling away back to the Greek. He didn't use the word aphistémi because the Greek word apostasia fits the context of the entire chapter. It also fits like a glove into the timeline that Christ himself gave us to the disciples in Matthew 24, Mark 13, and Luke 21. And what is the cause of the great falling away, you might ask? Well, it's Satan standing in the holy place claiming to be God. The falling away comes when many will believe Satan is Jesus Christ. And that's why Jesus, Paul, and John warned us so many times of the great deception to come, and this is all comes before the true Christ returns, beloved. This is also the mark of the beast that many will take because they're caught worshiping the spurious Messiah, therefore the falling away. If you worship the spurious Messiah, you're falling away from the true Messiah. It's just common sense, beloved. Matthew 24-21 and Mark 13 are dedicated to warning you about this defection or deception or falling away from the truth of Scripture. They all made it a point to explain to you that this deception would come before the true Christ returns at the second coming. There would be no deception if the true Jesus Christ came before the false Christ. And this is a really important point, beloved. This is only common sense. It would be hard to imitate the real thing if the real thing was standing right in front of you. You understand that? I hope you understand that. This is really just common sense. And because how could the false Christ or Antichrist deceive anybody if the true Christ had already appeared? And this is the whole point of all of these warnings, beloved. The Antichrist is the one who causes the falling away or departure from the truth. And he is the one associated with the Great Tribulation because of this deception. Deception is tribulation, beloved. Deception on this massive scale is the essence of the Great Tribulation. It is a fact that many will fall away from the real Jesus Christ to worship the false Christ and this is the whole point of these warnings. Satan's power is not his own. He does have power himself, but this power that we're talking about is not his own. But it is within his power to deceive the masses into believing he is Christ, as Daniel tells us in chapter 8, verse 24. He would not deceive anybody if he came as Satan or if he came in his own name. You understand that, beloved? It's really important to understand that concept right there. Now, replacing the Greek word apostasia with Aphistémi is the only way the pre-tribulation rapture apologists can make this false doctrine fit into their narrative. It is really sad and misleading to just out and out change the words that are used within a verse, but that's exactly what these false teachers are doing in violation of Revelation 22:18 and 19. In the explanation of the meaning of the word Aphistémi, there's only one reference to the words removed from, and they turn it into a rapture. It's just so pathetic to me, beloved. This is laughable, and it goes against all the rules of hermeneutics and even the reading of a simple novel. When, why, where, and how. And it's like they can't even understand, using these type of hermeneutics, they can't even understand some of the first books we read in the first grade, beloved. You wouldn't even understand them. In reality, the explanation given for Aphistémi is still means departure from the truth or removal from the truth, not a rapture. And don't you find that ironic? That it's ironic. It's pathetic, and people believe this nonsense. One of the reasons to have a strong concordance is because it is word specific. In other words, it will give the word itself within the exact verse you're looking at. For example, the words falling away are verse specific in 2 Thessalonians, and Dr. Strong gives us the number in association with that specific verse. And he will also give you the prime roots or the etymology from which that particular word is derived from. And it's important that beloved, that you dig deep in every word, that you can go back to the etymology or the beginning where it's taken from. It's going to help you to have a greater understanding of what you're reading, beloved. Now, let's go over to Thessalonians 2 again for the umpteenth time, and I want to try to explain this to you, beloved. You cannot just inject a subject and an object into something you're reading. You got to stick with the subject and the object, which is established here in verse 2 of chapter 2. Now we beseech you, brethren, by the coming of our Lord Jesus Christ and by our gathering together unto him. And it's talking about the second coming, that ye be not soon shaken in mind or troubled, neither by spirit, nor by word, nor by letter, as from us, as that day of Christ is at hand. He's talking about the first letter. And don't let that first letter deceive you. Or, they had misunderstood the first letter, and I believe this is why Paul is writing again to the Thessalonians, and he's clearing this up, giving a chronology to 1 Thessalonians 4:17. He's giving you a chronology here. He's saying, let no man deceive you by any means, for that day will not come until after a falling away first. And this falling away must come first, and that man of sin be revealed, the son of perdition. Beloved, there's only one son of perdition. And the word perdition means to perish, and Satan has already been sentenced to death. And that's where the word perdition comes from. This is not Judas, so don't let anybody tell you any different. This is speaking of the Antichrist. Now, this is the subject. The son of perdition is the subject here. The subject is not a rapture. Now, when you go to 1 Timothy 1:4, this is a reiteration of what's going to happen here. Now the Spirit speaketh expressly that in the latter times some shall depart from the faith. This is the falling away, beloved. When you worship the Antichrist, you're departing from the faith. And you give heed to seducing spirits and doctrines of devil. And beloved, no matter how innocuous you think this is, the rapture doctrine, this is exactly what it is. It's the doctrines of devils. These people are being used by the devil, beloved. And now let's move on. Who opposeth and exalteth himself above all that is called God, or that is worship, so that he is God, sitteth in the temple of God, showing himself that he is God. Now this is how the great falling away takes place, beloved, is Satan standing in the holy place claiming to be God. And many are going to fall for this guy. And remember, when I was with you, I told you these things. Paul had told them about this time and time again. And he's reminding them that he's reiterating what he's told them in the first book. For the mystery of iniquity doth already work. He who now will let until he be taken out of the way. And this mystery of iniquity has been working since the beginning of time. This is Satan in his role as the prince and the power of the air. And the one who is letting or withholding or restraining is Michael. And Paul is saying that Michael is holding Satan, the Antichrist, in heaven until he's taken out of the way, until God gives him the order to cast him down. And this is the only way that the Antichrist can stand in a holy place claiming to be God. This is personal. This is Satan de facto, de jure, being cast to the earth. And I will go into every scripture that is a reference to this very verse right here. And then shall that wicked be revealed. Who's the wicked? Well, that's the Antichrist claiming to be God, whom the Lord shall consume with the spirit of his mouth and will destroy with the brightness of his coming. Of Christ will destroy the Antichrist with the brightness of his coming. In that order, beloved. Now, within these verses above and also below is your chronology. The wicked be revealed, and immediately after that, the second coming, and only in that order. Now look, here's Matthew 24:29. This is reiterating this chronology. Immediately after the tribulation of those days of the falling away, the Satan standing in the holy place, Satan is the tribulation, beloved. These are speaking of the same thing. These all fit together like a glove if you don't twist them and take them out of context. In the tribulation of those days shall the sun be darkened, and the moon shall not give her light, and the stars shall fall from heaven, and the powers of the heavens shall be shaken. Now this is speaking of this war in heaven that Michael and his angels fight, and Satan and his angels fight, and Satan ends up getting kicked out of heaven onto this earth. And trust me, beloved, he knows he's only got a short time, and he's going to go for it. And many people are going to fall for him. And then shall appear the sign of the Son of Man in heaven, and then shall all the tribes of the earth mourn. All the tribes of the earth, the ones that are in mourning, are going to pray for the mountains to fall on them, because these are the people that are in mourning who have worshipped the false Messiah. And when they see the real Christ appear, it's going to cause them to mourn, beloved. And they shall see the Son of Man coming in the clouds of heaven with power and great glory. Now, this is the Son of Man coming in this giant group, in this biggest family reunion that has ever taken place. They will all appear him, and we will all be resurrected at that time. They will resurrect from paradise. They will come with Christ in this big group from heaven, and it's going to be a powerful and glorious time, beloved. Now let's go to verse 9 in 2 Thessalonians. Even him who is Christ, right, whose coming is after the working of Satan with all power, signs, and lying wonders. Beloved, there's your chronology right there. Okay? The second coming is after the working of Satan, who causes the falling away. It's right there. Now I'm going to go over all these verses. I've done this before, but I haven't taken these verses and read them to you, beloved, so that you could see this. Now these are all speaking of this casting out of Satan from heaven to the earth. And in order for him to be this spurious Messiah, this is the only way he can do it, is if he's casted. This is a personal role. This is not him playing roles from heaven as the prince and the power of the air. This one is personal. He's cast to the earth. And now, and he be taken out of the way. He is a direct reference to Satan. He be taken out of the way is explaining that Michael is kicking Satan out of heaven to the earth. Only then can he stand in the holy place and claim to be God and cause the great tribulation and the great falling away. See how that ties together, beloved? Now, I'm gonna go over all these verses. You can't. These verses are specifically referring to this event of Satan being cast to the earth and this great war that's fought in heaven that's spoken of by Christ. And believe me, when this fight takes place and Michael and his angels kick Satan out of heaven, I mean, there will be silence in heaven at that time, because Satan, the accuser of the brethren, is cast out. Now, this is a personal casting out of the entity, the cherub, the anointed cherub, who is Satan himself in his role as the Antichrist. And don't let anybody tell you any different. He doesn't possess a man to do this. The beast, the false prophet, they're all one and the same. They're all Satan. And don't let anybody tell you any different about this, beloved. Now let's read all of these. I want to read all of these for you. Revelation 12:7, and there was a war in heaven. It's talking about this great war, beloved, that Christ mentioned. Michael and his angels fought against the dragon, and the dragon fought and his angels, and prevailed not. Neither was their place found any more in heaven. And the great dragon was cast out, that old serpent called the devil, Satan, which deceiveth the whole world. He is cast out to the earth, and his angels were cast out with him. Now you can see some of the names he's given, but they're all the same entity, beloved. He's got 33 names that I have counted, names and roles. And I believe there's only 3 roles that he actually appeared in person, and that was to Adam and Eve, and he appeared to Christ in the wilderness, and then now as the Antichrist, the spurious Messiah, will be his final role as the greatest actor of all times. Excuse me. Luke 10:18. And Christ said unto them, that's what this reference, he. And Christ said unto them, I beheld Satan as lightning fall from heaven. It's a reference to this casting out. And it has to be cast out of heaven to stand in the holy place to claim to be God that causes the falling away, beloved. John 12:30, Jesus answered and said, This voice came not because of me, but for your sakes. Now is the judgment of this world. Now shall the prince of this world be cast out. Now this was 6 days before the Passover. And I believe this was a specific reference to this time of the Antichrist. And this could be 6 days before the Passover. We don't know the year. We don't know the day or the hour. But I believe this is not Christ referring to this time he was in. He is referring to the end times. Okay? And that's a direct reference to the same prince and the power of the air being cast to the ground, to the earth, beloved. Revelation 13:5, and it was given unto him a mouth speaking great things and blasphemies, and power was given unto him to continue 42 months. Now Satan's prophecies are always given in months. This is a direct reference to Satan. And I believe this time is going to be shortened, this 42 months, beloved. And I've already went into it. I believe it's 5 months, as Revelation 9:5 tells us. Revelation 13:11. And I beheld another beast come up out of the earth, and he had 2 horns like a lamb, and he spake as a dragon. This is the dragon, this is Satan. And he exerciseth all power, and the first beast before him, and causeth the earth and them which dwell therein to worship the first beast, whose deadly wound was healed. This is the deadly wound to the beast system, and the beast is Satan, none other than Satan, who comes when he's cast down to heal this deadly wound. And he doeth great wonders, so that he maketh fire come down from heaven on the earth in the sight of men. So he has to be here on earth to cast fire down from heaven in the sight of men, beloved. It's another direct reference to him being here on earth. Verse 14, and deceived them that dwell on the earth by the means of those miracles which he had power to do in the sight of the beast, which is the beast system. And the beast, these are one and the same. The beast is the leader of the beast system. It's his, beloved. You can see he's in control of it right now. Saying to them that dwell on the earth, that they should make an image to the beast which had the wound by the sword, and it did live. And this deadly wound would be cast to this, it will be inflicted upon this beast system, but it will survive because Satan will come and heal it. And he had power to give life unto the image of the beast. And he gave life unto the beast system, which he's been doing throughout the ages. That the image of the beast should both speak and cause that as many would not worship the image of the beast should be killed. And this is if you take this mark of the beast, you'll definitely be in good with Satan, but it's not going to be good for you when Christ returns. I can assure you, beloved. And he causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark on their hand or in their foreheads. This mark is what in your hand is what you do. Your right hand is symbolic for the work you do, and what's in your forehead is in your brain, and is your allegiance to Christ or the false Christ. Have you been taught to worship the first Christ? Have you been taught to fly away with him? And that no man might buy or sell save he that had the mark or the name of the beast or the number of his name, which is 666. Can you count the number of his name, beloved? You know the difference between 666 and 777? Let's go to Isaiah 14:13. For thou hast said in thine heart, this is Satan, I will ascend into heaven, I will exalt my throne above the stars of God, I will sit upon the mount of the congregation in the sides of the north. This is a direct reference to 2 Thessalonians, where he stands in a holy place claiming to be God. See how these just completely fit like a glove, beloved? I will ascend above the heights of the clouds. I will be like the Most High. That's what Satan wants to be. He wants to be God. And many are going to worship him as if he were God, beloved. This is his main goal. And let's go to 1 Timothy 1:4 again. Now the Spirit speaketh expressly that in the latter times some shall depart from the faith, giving heed to seducing spirits and doctrines of devils. The rapture is the doctrine of devils, and it will cause you to depart from the faith, beloved. Put that together. Let's go to Daniel 7:25, and he shall speak great words against the Most High while he's standing in the holy place, beloved, claiming to be God, and shall wear out the saints of the Most High. Now, the only way you could do that if the saints of the Most High are here on earth, beloved, they're not gone in a rapture. So this is right here, is proof right here that they're still here. He's going to wear the saints out. And if the time were not shortened, even the elect would be full, beloved. And think to change times and laws, and they shall be given into his hand until a times and the dividing of time. Now this is 3.5 years. This is a time, and speaking. Now I believe this could be 3.5 months, 3.5 years, but it's 3.5, whatever this time is. In Daniel 8:9, and out of the one of them came forth a little horn. That's another name of Satan. And this is I believe this is his role as the Antichrist, which waxed exceedingly great toward the south and toward the east and toward the pleasant land, which, this is Jerusalem, this is Israel, and waxed great even to the host of heaven, and it cast down some of the hosts and of the stars to the ground and stamped upon them. Yeah, he magnified himself even to the prince of the hosts, and by him the daily sacrifice was taken away, and the place of the sanctuary was cast down. Now this is what happens when people worship the Antichrist. They're actually taking communion to him. And that's what this is, the daily sacrifice. This is talking about communion. We know that there's no sacrifice anymore. This was done away with by Christ himself. And at the time that Satan's cast down, many people will worship him as God. And now let's move on. And cast it to the ground and practice and prospered. Now this is talking about Satan practicing and prospering, coming in peacefully and prosperously, and basically wearing out the true saints of God because they know he's the false Messiah. Now, if we go to Matthew, I'm not going to read the entire chapter of Matthew 24, but the entire chapter, you can read it for yourself, beloved, is devoted to warning you about this deception, and Christ has given you a step-by-step prophecy of what is going to happen when this guy stands in the holy place and all the deception that will take place. And beloved, do not be deceived by this joker. He is going to be good. If you worship him You will take the mark of the beast, and this will place your soul in danger. You could be in danger of actually losing your salvation. But there is the millennial reign of Christ, and once again, Satan will be released again for the final test. But at that time, that will be the final time. So, beloved, do not let these rapture teachers try to fool you and take these words falling away out of context and try to claim it's a flying away or a rapture. It couldn't be further from the truth. And I have proved this right here, beloved. And I hope you like this, and much love from me to you. And we'll see you on the next lecture.